All right. So thanks for everyone who entered the competition. We had a huge response in the competition, over 180 participants. Amazing. Yeah. All to talk about waste, food waste. So there we, myself and Conor brought lots of different things, lots of different ideas, and then at the end of the little video there, we'll pick the winners.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And some of the entries, all of them have been fantastic.
Yeah, some of those ideas, even for us, told us a lot.
Yeah,
like, you know,
absolutely.
To be honest, it's just amazing, very inspiring, very inspiring. So there we're going to just show you some of the veg, and you certainly have in your fridge. Like, you see, you have celery, carrots, peppers, onions, all not too chefy stuff. Just nice and easy, simple things, little tricks, and you can replicate at home. So we're going to start, we said we start by the carrots. So, see those carrots there? They have skin, they have the carrots themselves, and they have nice little leaves as well. So we can use the whole thing, so just to try to avoid the food waste. And then when we go through all that, Conor has a great tips for the Friday, empty your fridge Friday. You call that like that, is it?
Empty the fridge kimchi.
Yeah,
where you can use up everything that's in your fridge.
So we'll do that at the end with all the bits and pieces, and we're going to find the table, okay? So to start, we have skin on those carrots. So those carrots, for summer carrots, for example, like small carrots like that, you don't have to peel them. You just can cook them straight away like that. But then for winter carrots, when they have been stored for a good few weeks and stuff, the skin can get bitter and hard. So what you can do, you end up with all those skins. You wash them well, put a drizzle of oil on that, and then you roast that in the oven for about 15 minutes, 180 degrees. A bit of sea salt over, and you get lovely crisps. Okay, so you can use carrot, parsnips, whatever type of peels you have that work very well. So that's one way to use the carrot waste, and then to use the tops there, you can put that in salad, in the fried kimchi. You can make a little pesto or soups, whatever you want with it. So I'm going to show you a very quick pesto using lots of local ingredients. So you chop it roughly, like that. There, then back here. So we're going to put that in a blender with bit of, thanks Conor, bit of the smoked Nakano cheese that we're using here. Bit of Irish organic sunflower seeds. Lovely. Thanks. Some lovely rapeseed oil. So me and Conor, like, we don't use olive oil. We use only local organic rapeseed oil. See the color of it, the taste as well. I found olive oil sometimes a bit overpowering in taste. So rapeseed oil is kind of a bit more subtle and way more refined in taste anyway. And more sustainable, the way that it's growing in Ireland. Very good for biodiversity and bees and all that. So a touch of our own vinegar. I'll show you how to make that vinegar later. Very easy as well. So you have that. Lock that in. So usually I don't put the salt at the beginning because the cheese could be very salty. So we'll just taste at the end to see that. And there, as simple as carrot top pesto, all Irish grown produce. Okay, so the thing with carrot leaves, they're full of vitamin C, and they are kind of that slightly celery, very fresh taste from it. Okay, so there, that was the carrots. Okay, so Conor, good friend of mine. We met over 2 years ago. He's from Food Space. To me, he's the Irish king of zero food waste. He's just amazing, very inspiring guy. So I'll let you do it.
Cheers. So we're going to talk about this guy, celery, which is kind of an everyday vegetable item. Lots of people use it, and I'm going to show you how to use all of it, but also how celery is one of these vegetables that's very easy to regrow. So it's a kind of vegetable that gives back the entire time. So you get your celery like this in your supermarkets, the full celery and so on. And what I'm going to do is just to show you some different ideas. So with the leaves of the celery, first of all, I'm just going to chop them off. And I've got my leaves here. And basically what we're going to do is make an absolute fantastic, what we call a celery salt. So it's brilliant to season vegetables with, to season soups, stocks, sauces and so on with. What we do is, I've roughly chopped that up. We're going to dry that out and then we're going to add it into our little mix. So I've got some Irish sea salt here, and we're going to add in sea salt into that, and then we're going to add in our leaves. These will have been dried, but to give it this just to show you how that works.
Or you can dry the salt after else as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Same.
Which, yeah, you're true. Either or, depending. So if you don't want to dry these first, you can do it all later on. So basically, they're all gone in. We're going to go into the RoboCoupe. We're going to blend these up.
If you don't have a RoboCoupe, a blender will do.
Yeah, and it's so easy. Yeah, sorry, that's the term RoboCoupe. A blender, basically. And we blend this up, and this is what we get left with. So this is a fantastic celery salt. As what it does is when you season your food, you season your dishes with this, it lowers the sodium as well in your food because you're using less salt. Because this is 50-50, so it's half celery leaves, 2 salt. Tastes fantastic, and it can be done for lots of different vegetables as well. I'm just using that as an example there to show you how the salt works. Then later on, towards the end, I'm going to chop this guy up and show you into our empty the fridge kimchi, as I call it. I'm going to show you how we use this. But the interesting piece is how to regrow celery. So when you've chopped this down, and usually when you chop it, that's going to be used now shortly, so I'm going to leave that over there. So usually when you chop it, this is kind of what you're left with, or slightly less is what you're left over with. And what we do here is we simply nib off like a millimeter off the root here, and we place it into a glass or any kind of jar that you have. This sits in it, and sit it in your window or somewhere warm in your kitchen where there's sunlight coming in, and leave it for 2 weeks. And what happens is it starts to sprout like that. So it's already starting to regrow from the root that's in it. After 2 weeks, remove it from the water, and then you can plant it out. Now, either or, you can plant it straight into your garden. You can plant it in a flower pot or whatever you might have on your balcony in an apartment or whatever, and this will regrow. This is after about a month, this time of year where it's a bit warmer. Obviously, depending on the time of year, it will take longer to grow. But basically, this is going to grow back another celery. So it's very easy then to constantly reuse your celery to regrow it and regrow it, all from this, which at best we throw out or we put into compost. So it's a great way to what I call free food. It's a great way to make sure that we're using up everything on it. That's our celery, very easy. Yeah. JB?
So you were telling me you were doing that as well with baby gem and lots of
there's lots of little, so most vegetables or salad or lettuces, anything that comes in with a root on it like that, the same applies. So if you were using a lettuce, you could use all the outer leaves, leave the little heart in the center, and do the exact same with
like
it.
All the oak leaves.
Oak leaves, all the different lettuces, and they will regrow in the same way. So it's a great way to reuse food. That's a quick and easy way to show you. And next, JB is going to go on, which one I love now is onto your bread. So this is really, really cool.
So, easy, okay? So we have, so I'm French, I made a big onion soup, and I ended up with all those onion skin. Okay, so I left them somewhere hot and dry to leave them dry up, like that. I put them in the blender, and I ended up with some type of kind of onion skin powder thing. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make bread with that. So it's a very easy recipe with yeah, lovely. Sorry, I thought I had there. Perfect. So it's a kind of a white soda bread recipe. Okay, so we have just a plain flour. We have always in my breads I always put oats. I'm using the organic flavored oats, being from Waterford and all. You know,
of course, yeah,
of course. The good thing about the oats, he had a nice rustic taste, but he had a lot of fibers into your diet. You know, so and decent amount of proteins as well. So we have that, and then that's your baking soda, baking powder, and a pinch of salt. Let me show you mix that well first. Put your onion skin. That's the skins from 4 onions, about, give or take, you know.
And they're just dried, basically, just dried out onions.
Just dried onions, and then
in the blender.
In the blender, and that gives you kind of a rough powder as such. You don't want them too small neither, like you know. And then I'm going to mix that with the buttermilk. There. Until the right consistency.
And this is so easy. If people are a bit afraid to make bread, like this is...
Well, like a soda bread is so easy to do anyway.
There's no proving, there's nothing involved.
Yeah, exactly that, you know. And then the good thing about the soda bread, you add whatever you want in it, you know. Yeah. It is very forgiving as such. You can put cheese, you can put whatever you want. Any type of, even the carrot skin crisps, if you have too much, they start to be a bit stale. You crumble them inside. All those things go in anyway, you know.
And I think it's interesting that it's so easy to make. I mean, it's put together like that. The longest part is when it's in the oven, but it goes to show you how easy it is to make fantastic fresh bread at home. And as you said, you can add in whatever you wanted. So
there, you put that in parchment paper. So that particular bread cooks for about 50 minutes, okay? So obviously I'm not going to make you wait. I'm going to play Celebrity Chef. Ta-da! Thanks.
There we go.
So there, you seen earlier there was only white flour in it. There was a kind of a white soda bread in it. Yeah? So you see, look at the color you got.
It's amazing.
All that color is from the onions. Like
and the flavor and the smell.
Like onion skin. My grand for Easter used to boil eggs with onion skin to make brown boiled eggs.
Yes, yeah.
She used to put flowers to get the purple. So we used to have boiled eggs for Easter. No chocolate in our house, like you know.
Yes, yeah.
So that's to give it a smell.
It's amazing,
And you have that caramelly taste from it, like you know.
And that's lovely because the onion skins with that'd be lovely, like a relish, cheese, or whatever you want on top. Because it's got that savoury. Gorgeous. And so easy, so easy to make. Like that's really, really cool. Really simple.
Back to you on
so one of about one of my favourites that is kind of buried down here.
One that someone as everybody like.
So these are fantastic and probably never. I always think sometimes not as popular as other vegetables. So I'm like, so radish. We're talking radishes. Absolutely fantastic tasting in lots of different things. Like you can put them in salads, slice them real thinly, pickle them very easy, and so on. But I'm just going to talk through this one really because the idea is, I mean, in a lot of places, a lot of supermarkets, so on, you don't actually get this, unfortunately, because the leaves on these are absolutely fantastic. They taste great. They've got this kind of peppery kind of taste to them.
And almost horseradishy. Like.
And so like and I'm going to give you examples, like put in through salads and so on, but also chopped up and sprinkled on top of like a stir fry or anything like that, or even cooked through into the stir fry. It's a great way to use all of a radish, and to me it's a very underutilized. They're grown in Ireland. These ones are obviously here from Grow HQ. They're organic and they're absolutely fantastic. But they are available in supermarkets and so on. And if you're lucky enough,
and you can grow them yourself as well in the little salad box on your windowsill.
On your windowsill or whatever, if you don't have a garden, exactly.
And it's very rewarding because they're very fast grower as well. So.
And like I'm not a gardener. I'd be really bad at growing anything, but these can grow without any effort. And as I said, great, fantastic. And I think we really should be looking for more of them. Really, you know what I mean? Irish radishes, of course, not imported ones. But like that, use up everything. If you can buy whole vegetables with the leaves, with whatever the vegetable is, the whole lot, you can just get so much more out of it. You get so much more value for money because you get to create so many more dishes out of it. So they're one of my favourites. We just had to show them today. The radish, really, really cool.
One of the, do you have a popular veg as well? The bell peppers, and everybody has at home, sitting in their fridge, sometimes going off as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And you're right. I mean, because everyone uses these. You know what I mean? Like it's a day-to-day vegetable. And I suppose to show you in another way how to use all of it, we slice this down. This will go into the kimchi at the end. So I'm going to leave them over here because we're going to show you at the end. So normally when we trim it, this is what we're left with. And at best, you probably put this into compost. At best, really, to be honest with you. But there's so much more you can do with it. So we trim this down, and very easy. This like takes minutes. You can see here I have seeds already. So we remove the seeds just with your hand.
So and you could keep some of the seeds and replant them to.
Yes, exactly. You don't have to have every bit removed. So we remove some of the seeds. They can be roasted off in an oven, and they're fantastic. So in any kind of dish on top where you might use sesame seeds or something like that, that's a perfect replacement. You know, and it's got that little crunch to it, it's got that bite to it, and so on. So
very fresh as well.
Yeah, really, really fresh because it's got that peppery, refreshing taste to it. But also very, very quickly, we're going to make which is almost, I suppose, like a vegan pesto.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's very, very simple. And I'm not going to make a lot of it here, but obviously we have a lot of peppers here because these have come from the Grow HQ kitchen. But like putting these into a blender of any type that you have. And again, Irish rapeseed oil, very important. We're going to add that in. Just enough, kind of 3/4 way up, a drop of, this is fantastic apple vinegar that's made here in Grow HQ, and JB is going to go through that with you. Not a little splash of that in. Salt for seasoning, and obviously because it's vegan, we're not adding cheese or anything to it. And really simple.
And you don't need to put nuts or anything because all the seeds, the seeds going to bind it together anyway.
I think I have that on right. I hope.
Hopefully.
We'll find out. And yeah, this is basically just blended up through. Like that. So it's an alternative to pesto without the cheese or anything, so it's a vegan type pesto. But because it's a pepper, it's obviously sweeter in flavour. Great as a dip, but also great like put through different dishes and so on, different vegan dishes, used as a salad dressing and so on. Really, really easy to make. Really, really easy to make. I mean, what's that, a minute? And there you have it. Really simple, delicious flavour, really, really sweet from the bell pepper, and that's just using the very core that we normally throw out. And you can, and as I said, some seeds are in that as well. These seeds then that we took back, we roast in an oven, and then we use them to sprinkle on top of different dishes and so on. A lot of where you use a lot of little sesame seeds and so on. Really, really tasty, simple to do, great way to use up a bell pepper.
Yeah, it's great. That's a great trick. I might use that now.
Should.
So, a quick one. So,
Love this.
Tomatoes, okay? So, did I have this one? Okay, so tomatoes, you always buy tomatoes on the vine or just with the stem on it, or you grow them. So there's lots of ways you can use your plants at the end of the season as well. But so I'm just going to talk about those little things there, just those little things, the stems. So you see, so there's all the stems there. So you leave them dry in a warm place, anywhere under the sun, on top of your oven, in your
even in your hot press,
like in your press.
Yeah.
My hot press, there's no
room.
There's no room anymore. It's all the fermentation stuff going on in there. So, so that's what happens when they dry it up. You see, you hear them. They'll crisp it up. So put them in a small blender, in a small kind of juicer, in a spice grinder, and that's what you end up with, a powder. So that's great to coat a fish, or to coat a chicken, and kind of it brings kind of
gorgeous.
That's gorgeous, almost kind of green tea. Kind of green tea smell.
It really
of it,
is actually, yeah.
It's very
really
green,
pungent and
very pungent green tea, earthy taste to any type of roast you can do, like
amazing.
It just brings another dimension to your dish, like, or you can use it as a seasoning of a salad or anything like that, like as well. So it just and that's full of vitamin C, full of fiber still and stuff.
And it's funny that because when we all use tomatoes, so that packs a punch. It's full of vitamin C and all that, and we throw it out because we just think that we can't do anything with it.
Because you've been told, and that's for the bin.
Yeah, and like there's no
full of taste,
special equipment, nothing for that. Yeah. That's easily done at home.
So one of obviously one of my favorite one. We were talking about the vinegar earlier.
Love this.
That's kind of a small version of what we're doing here. I have give or take 120 liters on the go at the moment. So that's all our own apples. So when we do the apples, to start, I never peel the apples because in the skin there's so most of the vitamins are in the skin anyway.
Yes.
So whatsoever, if you do a crumble, or if you go into, maybe you can grate some into your kimchi later.
Yeah, exactly. It's lovely for
anything,
actually, yeah.
So I'm just going to, it's just the core usually we can't use, okay? So we kind of end up with those, the apple core like that we can't do anything with. So what you do, you put that into a cleaner jar, you cover it with water. You can add a tablespoon of sugar if you like, if you want to fasten the process a little bit. I don't because I have plenty of time. So, and you leave them between 3 to 6 months, like that. Be sure you add a stone or paper or something like that on top.
A way to keep it down.
To keep it down, otherwise it get moldy on top. Be sure it's in the dark. And you see the ways I didn't put the rubber on top of the cleaner jar.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just close it like that. And like that, because there'll be gas producing during the fermentation process.
Course, yeah.
And it'll explode. I can tell you that happened to me more than once. Not funny.
Same, yeah.
Not funny. So you leave it like that for 3 to 6 months, how strong you want. So if you leave it only 3 months, you can actually drink it like that.
Yeah.
You can drink it, and it's very
Really
good
good for your
cleanser,
gut.
very good
Really
for your
good.
gut, very good cleanser for your liver and all that. So, and that's the way you make your vinegar.
That's so simple.
It's so simple. So this one was last year. So I left it 6 months and then matured it for another 6 months. I know everybody thinks it's a long time to wait and things, but there's absolutely no work to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's absolutely no work to it, you know.
And of course, another thing is that if you go into any health shop or something where they sell like real apple vinegar, so it costs, it's really expensive.
Yeah.
And
so there I got a liter for free.
Yeah.
You know?
From stuff you would have thrown out or best composted.
Yeah, best composted, yeah.
Simple
so
and really tasty.
One.
Brilliant.
So there we have
so on to one of my favorites. This is my, love this.
Yeah.
So it's worth noting, I first saw this with JB, but it was about a year ago when we did the supper club down here.
Yeah.
And
oops.
What JB's going to show you now, we had on that night. And ever since then, I just do this.
We made up the recipe on the spot last year. So,
fabulous.
So that ugly thing there is called a Celeriac. So very common in chefy kitchens. But what I'm going to show you there, you can use any type of turnips or Swedes.
Yes, yeah.
That works the exact same way. Okay.
Brilliant.
So those vegetables, they obviously, you can keep all those dirty roots there, but be sure you wash them well. So all the top of the celeriac, you can use it as celery, the same
exactly,
thing.
Yeah.
So
just as we showed with the leaves, so on,
leaves,
pestos,
salads,
everything,
pestos, stir fries, the whole lot. So as chefs, we've been told to use only the white part there, okay? So.
And even people cooking celeriac at home would be the same. They'd peel it like they do turnip or Swede or parsnip.
And the skin is very, very thick. You see, I don't know if you can see it from here, but the skin is about, I don't know, 3 to 4 millimeters, like.
Yeah.
So you can't even peel it with a peeler, like, you know, so you'll have to go through a knife. So all that big plant we had there, and usually we use only that, okay? So that, you can use that for your kimchi, for your Friday special. So what I'm going to do there, I'll be using that. So all those small roots there, I'm going to leave them as they are. Okay, just break them down a little bit. The skin there, just get grate it. Be sure they're nice and clean. So you grate it.
Mind your fingers.
I have loads of them.
And again, this is packed again with nutrients and so on. This is really, you know,
full of fibers.
All are really, really good for you, and yet we never use it because we think that we can't. But this is again a simple recipe.
Yeah. Very simple.
So everything we're showing takes minutes, like.
Yeah. So, and as I say, like maybe you won't have a celeriac, but I'm sure like everybody has a Swede at home.
Yeah, of course.
You know.
Yeah. Same.
So you do the same thing with Swedes and all types of turnips. Like it works the exact same way. So like that you grate it. So what we're going to do, a very healthy version of remoulade. Remoulade is a mayonnaise and mustard. So what we're going to do here, Always I use, sorry, I'm just going to grab there. So I'm going to use yogurt. I always use yogurt. Yeah. I always have a kilo or two of yogurt in a natural full-fat yogurt in my fridge. That's what I use always instead of mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Like
and it's lighter as well. I think it adds more flavor, more depth of flavor, and lighter.
It's lighter, it's healthier, good for your guts and all that. Like so, and very versatile, so versatile. That's bitter mustard we're doing here as well. So bitter mustard, bit of yogurt. Mix that through, and that's your nice salad. So the best that type of thing, you leave it set for about overnight in the fridge. Yeah. So it start to soften a little bit.
Up a bit. Yeah.
And then just
so it's similar to making a coleslaw, really.
Yeah. It's just a coleslaw.
And the mustard living through that.
Yeah.
You know, fantastic. And really, really easy. Yeah. And really good for you, like really tasty, packed with flavour and the whole lot. Love that. That's one of my favourites. Cool. So
we're back on your Friday empty.
Yeah, so this to me is my go-to thing. At the end of a week, you're at home, you've got bits bits of vegetables, bit of everything to kind of, you know, you come at the end of the week, you're going to do another shop, and you've got bits of vegetables and so on to use up. And this is so easy. Easy way to get into fermentation and so on by using up kind of, like as you see here now, we've got our peppers, we've got everything here to use up. So very easily, I'm going to start off with a bit of cabbage. So if you had cabbage on during the week, or you were making a salad or anything like that, and you've got like a half a head or a quarter of a head of cabbage left, it's a week old, it's sitting there, you're not kind of sure what you're going to do with it. So I'm not going to use all this, I'm just going to slice this down without cutting my fingers off. And important, I'm going to show you at the end why I'm keeping the outer leaves. And that's a little trick, I suppose, to this kind of fermentation where we have to keep it submerged and so on. Just going to move that to the side. As I said, I'm not using all of this. It's to give you an idea to get you started. So what we're doing, taking a bit of the cabbage, and the good thing about this is we call it a young kimchi because it doesn't take long to ferment. At home, this will be done in a matter of days and it's ready to eat. So we're going to slice this guy down any way you want. You can grate it, you can slice it. If you have like a blender or anything at home, just put it in to grate this up. And always start with your greens first. And you can have anything in this. You can have broccoli stalks, cauliflower leaves, anything like that. And we literally slice that up and add it into our bowl. This is the first process because this is the important part of it, where we're going to get the moisture. So by that, what I'm doing is I have my cabbage, and okay, I'm used to this. You can weigh this out. So from your cabbage to your salt, you want about 1/3 kind of salt to cabbage. So we're going to season this up. It might sound like a lot, but it's not. And what this is going to do is this is going to draw out the moisture from the cabbage. So just for a few little minutes, I'm calling massaging this into the cabbage. And this is going to be the base for our kimchi. So by massaging this through, the moisture is going to be drawn out from the cabbage, and that moisture is going to be a very important part of our fermentation of our kimchi. And again, easy to do, and anything can go into this. Like we're going to use some of these vegetables that we were just chopping up earlier in little bits. The apple as well adds a sweetness to it. Carrots are another way of adding sweetness to it, and so on. So as I'm massaging that in, already I can feel the moisture being drawn out by the cabbage. As this is going out under time, I would leave that for about 20 minutes just to draw out all the moisture from it. And in the meantime, what I'm going to do, as that's there, I am going to slice up the rest of whatever vegetables I have. As I said, we have peppers here, as you saw from earlier. We've got some celery. What's in your fridge, guys? Do you know what I mean? Like you can have your celery, you can have, your celeriac, carrot, the whole lot. So all this is getting sliced up. And I have this at home the whole time, and it's fantastic with everything. It's fantastic. Put on top of stir fries, put on top of grilled chicken or fish, put into salads and so on. And it really is a brilliant way just to kind of empty your fridge, guys, of bits and ends that you've had left over. So we'll push that to one side. What else have we got there? We've got a bit of carrot. So that carrot is very easy. That's carrots that we peeled earlier, just grated through. Again, that's going to add colour, but it's also going to add some sweetness, some natural sweetness to it. Grate the carrot into it. And if you notice, guys, like we're doing all this now, obviously it's live. This has taken minutes. I mean, there's not a lot of work in this. And if you were, you know, working during the week, you've had a busy week, you've come home and so on, you're doing, you know, your grocery shopping or whatever you're planning out for the following week, just do this on a Friday evening or do it on a Saturday morning or whatever. You know, but you know, it's just a great way to use it. My apple, I can grate, I can slice. It's kind of up to yourself what way you want. Another tip that adds another dimension to it is lovely seaweed is added to it. You can season this up with like, if you have it, most people have it in their cupboards, like, you know, that lovely chili jam that people buy in stores. Season it up with that. You can use, as I said, you can use seaweed and so on in through it. Soy sauce can bring another dimension. So it's kind of taking a Korean kimchi recipe and kind of making everything, using up everything in it. What else have I got there? So anything that's used, anything that's here basically, or anything that's in your fridge can be used on this. And so here, as I said, I would leave this a bit longer at home. I'm trying to see, can you see the moisture coming out of that? So we give this a squeeze and the moisture, you see it there, the moisture's starting to come out of that already. And that's just after, what's that, a minute? So you can imagine after like half an hour or something like that, it's really going to draw out all the moisture from the salt. And then I'm just basically going to add all this into it. Mix all this up. And what you do need to do, and I'm going to show you now, we have a kiln jar there, you can add in, you will need to add some more liquid to it because you need to ensure this is submerged. So I'm mixing this through, and as I said, guys, this can be anything you have left over, anything in your fridge that you're not going to use that you think is, you know, is going to go to waste. It's a great way to use all that up. You can add in, it's nice to add a spice to this, some lovely fresh chili. As I say, if you have a chili paste or something at home, add a spoon of that in as well. Soy sauce is great in it. It just gives it another dimension. And you can see the lovely colours and so on that are in there. So basically then, a kiln jar, this one's slightly big for what the quantity we have here. So use a small jar, or if you don't have a kiln jar, you know, and you're buying condiments throughout the week, keep your glass jars. Take your mayonnaise jars, your pickles, whatever you're buying in the store, wash your jars out, your glass jars, and keep them for all this kind of stuff. So there's literally no cost to this. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's literally vegetables that you were going to waste. Very, very easy, very, very simple way of using it.
So it's a good way to empty your veg tray at the end of the week.
Absolutely, before you start to fill it again.
Before you go shopping on the
because we're very bad. I know lots of people, including myself before, a younger version of me, I suppose, where we go shopping, we go shopping on Friday, Saturday, whatever day it is, you come home with the shopping and you clear out half your fridge to make room for the new shop. And that's where this waste mentality is coming from. So that's very, very simple. What we would do there is we'd push this down. As you can imagine, as I said earlier, there would be more liquid in this because I would have it resting for longer with the salt. You can top this up with liquid. So the important part is that it's submerged. It needs to be totally submerged with the liquid. You can top it up, you can have your chili and so on in it. And then what we do, very, very easily, this is submerged under the liquid. We put the cabbage leaves on top because that's going to keep it submerged. You press that down under the liquid like that. It's totally submerged, and that stops any of the bad bacteria and so on getting in there. And basically what that's doing is keeping it underwater. We close it up and we leave it at room temperature for about, I like mine for about 4 days.
Yeah.
And you can leave it longer, but 4 days is kind of the minimum. You leave it in the kitchen for 4 days, then into your fridge and treat it as a condiment, basically. Open it up,
and
take it out.
And in your fridge, you can keep it for like 3, 4 weeks. So easily.
Mine doesn't last that long. Mine usually lasts a week because it's lovely and it goes with so many things. It's just an easy way. End of the week, empty your fridge. Really, really simple.
Right, I think it's time for the important part, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Looking forward to this. Look at the mess that we've apologies.
It's okay. We say clean up, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So, because there were so many entries, we decided to pick 2 names. We'll have the runner-up, and then...
And they were all brilliant.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were brilliant.
Like, so inspiring, like,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like, some of the tricks I never heard about, like,
In fairness, they were brilliant. And yeah, I was amazed, actually, but not only by the amount of people that sent them in, but the quality of it, like the ideas of how to not have waste at home. They were brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. So you're going to pick, what are you picking?
I picked the runner-up. Will I?
Pick the runner-up?
Yeah,
Okay.
I leave you pick the winner.
Oh, great.
All right. So I have Margot McCann,
Brilliant.
and she gave us a recipe for banana and raisin bread.
Lovely.
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 Like always a
And
winner.
it really tastes
Just, yeah, it tastes
bread
like
is one of my
banana.
favorites.
Yeah.
It's sweet, it's everything.
And
I give these a
so
stir-up. So this is the winner.
be sure for banana bread, use well black
Yes.
bananas and nobody wants anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And easy to make. Well, of course, during lockdown, everyone was on a banana bread phase as well. So I'll give these a good mix up. And this is the winner, which is a fantastic prize, guys. I'm jealous that I don't get it at all. So the winner is Sinead Delahunty, and she made a fennel and carrot slaw and ratatouille stuffed aubergine. Brilliant, because obviously that's the use of all the vegetables.
All the vegetables, like you fry them to your fridge, yeah.
Into your aubergine and so on. That's our winner, guys. Thank you so much. It's been fantastic. The entries were brilliant. Yeah, absolutely great.
Thanks, Conor, for coming in and
Thanks for having me.
to share all your knowledge on zero food waste.
No problem at all. Thanks, guys. Cheers.